What is this archaic system?
Mother's maiden name? Leibowitz?
You're telling me this guy is how things get verified.
That's my job.
I'm just saying, you shouldn't have to buy $10 worth of gum if you just want 79 cents worth of gum. Why do you get charged your money to take your money from your account? And if you're out of money, they charge you for being out of money?
What?
An overseas transfer takes 5 days?
Business days.
Why?
What are they using? A Zeppelin?
I deposit the check Monday.
But Monday was a bank holiday.
Why is this the way it is?
A bank holiday?
This system
What's a bank holiday?
makes no sense.
This makes no sense.
Who designed this system?
Ma'am?
Is this really the best we can do?
Hello?
Don't we deserve better?
And it's gone. Yes, your money is gone, like the South Park meme says, because you trusted a bank when you had Bitcoin, when you had Monero, when you had Pirate Chain, when you had Darrow. Ask yourself why you still trust the banking system after Lehman Brothers, after Bear Stearns. And now I guess we're going through a Bear Stearns part 2. And as a crypto dude, I'm sorry, but this could have been completely avoided. Now a lot of people are asking, well, Raph, aren't those crypto banks? No, I'm sorry, but they're not. See, the word crypto and bank is antithetical. They're antithetical words to one another. They really cannot coexist. They're just banks. Now, people in crypto have been led to believe that they are powerless, that they don't have the faculties or the technology to deal with onboarding, to deal with accounting. Can you believe that? Implicitly, that's what people in crypto have been psyoped to believe. They've been led to believe that they need externalities to the technology that Satoshi gave us. That we need to rely on externalities to the blockchain. The truth is that we don't. And people for many years now that have been selling you crypto, providing you platforms to buy crypto, to trade crypto, to onboard yourself into more crypto, are people that don't really care about crypto. That we're not really even using crypto technology for their own businesses. That, my friends, right there is the #1 way for you to figure out who a phony is in crypto. If there's a company, an entity, or anyone out there that talks a big game about crypto, but they don't even use the technology, and they're offering you financial services, but they're not even using a blockchain, you should be cautious. I would run away. A lot of people years back would even try to create their own blockchains. I mean, I'll chuck it up to whatever, but even that wasn't the smartest approach. The entire point of crypto is that you are in a trustless network where you don't have to trust anyone with the control of the protocol. A crypto network should be a space of Byzantine fault-tolerant generals whose greatest investment is in the investment that they have in each other, where they secure one another, verify each other's work. Unfortunately, that is not what the banking system provides. Crypto exchanges like FTX are nothing more than legacy financial institutions. Sure, they sold you crypto as an investment vehicle, but they were never using crypto themselves. Could you imagine an FTX that was built on chain, where you had the ability to verify reserves every block of time? We have the technology. Why didn't they do that? Because they're lizards. Because they really don't belong here. And because you, as a crypto person, shouldn't really be doing business with them. Now we have a bank run. And I'm sorry if you're hurting because of it, but at the same time, I am not. Bitcoin and crypto has been around for way longer than a decade now, and you're still trusting the fractional reserve banking system? An actual crypto economy is one that happens on chain. Here, let me give you an example. Does Monero need a bank to function? No, it does not. Monero miners are everything that Monero needs. Its full nodes, its network of developers, contributors. It is a self-sustaining system, independent of legacy finance, and that is the value of crypto. So for you guys to ask me what's happening to these crypto banks, my answer first and foremost is we're dealing with banks. FTX was a bank. Binance is still a bank. Coinbase, to me, is a fintech company. Sure, they sell you crypto, but why aren't they actually selling it on chain? Why aren't they using the technology themselves? Right now we see Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, and Silvergate Capital having bank runs. Oh, interesting note. Silvergate Capital is the bank that bankrolls Michael Saylor and one of the original founders, just look it up on Crunchbase, of MicroStrategy itself. So it is the dependency on these externalities that through euphemisms, they will even call them second layers or layered approaches to scaling, that have led you and many others to believe that you need to rely on externalities to the technology that Satoshi gave us. Let me break it down for you. Does Monero rely on externalities for it to work? No. Does Monero, in order for it to function, does it need to have a bank? No. It is a proper Byzantine fault-tolerant system. That's proper decentralized finance. That is, in my opinion, the best bank. The best type of place to store one's wealth in this age of modern finance. But for some reason, people in crypto began to think that in spite of them already having all of the technology, for them never to necessitate to be dependent on bankers or the financial system, for some reason, they thought that they could forego this technology, not use it, and still operate now dependent on the legacy financial system. And then we have things like Silvergate Bank now. And I called this at the Crypto Vigilante because while the whole FTX thing was happening, all of a sudden, they started changing their C-suite. And right away, I knew that they were in trouble. Mr. X just this past month on the newsletter, broke down everything as to what's happening with banks. Just this past month at the Crypto Vigilante, Mr. X wrote an extensive article on Custodia Bank. This is a Wyoming-based bank led by Caitlin Long. And look, guys, we tell you how things are. It's not that all banks are bad. There are some real good banks out there like Custodia Bank that they went through all the hoops to get a master account with the Federal Reserve, and they were denied. So now Custodia Bank is suing the Fed. Another great example is Kraken. With their new bank that they're coming out, Kraken Bank. Kraken Bank wants to assure its customers that they will always have money on reserves, even to sustain a bank run. In other words, Kraken does not want to rely on fractional reserve lending. But as corruption would have it, all of a sudden, this would mean that Kraken Bank will not be FDIC insured. Do you see the world we live in? Do you understand now that we have new wine crypto? We need to put it into new wine skins. Use crypto. You can't just hold crypto. You must use crypto. And not just use crypto in your personal life to buy and sell things, but to build things, businesses. It is hypocritical for anybody in the crypto space to have a crypto business that is not on chain. If your business, if you're a financial entity in the crypto space and your reserves are not being verified at any given block of time, you're a hypocrite because you're not actually walking the walk. You're not actually using the technology that you're selling people. And I can't trust you any more than I can trust an FTX. So now that we're dealing with this bank run, which more than likely will ripple into a greater catastrophe, they will come in with their problem reaction solution mechanism to instill in you more surveillance and more tyranny. Now, you can figure out for yourself what to do in that environment, or you could join the most badass anarcho-capitalist Austrian economic-led research newsletter on the planet, the Crypto Vigilante. Would be more than happy to have you. Because for us, it is our moral imperative that you guys be as educated as possible when it comes to these things. Now, my only requirement for you is that you actually read our content and engage the actual content that we provide. Don't be a passive person, because crypto requires a lot of responsibility of knowing how to hold your keys and so forth, but crypto it's a much deeper endeavor. I'd even argue it's a spiritual endeavor, because we're dealing with issues that permeate all aspects of life. And we're very much aware of this at the Crypto Vigilante. If you want to be part of this family, you're more than welcome. Sign up in the link below, cryptovigilante.io, because we're not playing around, guys. This is our future and the future of this world that is at stake. And you guys will either find yourself standing in long lines during a bank run. Hopefully you don't find yourself in a long line in a bread line, but that comes down to you. It comes down to you to actually take ownership of everything that crypto offers, starting with your own knowledge of it. That is the number one place for you to be responsible in your life, is in your finances in this age post-Bitcoin. Because you are now the captain of your own world, and no one can take that away from you. And our job is to teach you what these tools are, how to use them, how and when to interact with them, so that you can make those decisions for yourself. I don't suffer from bank run problems because I actually use these technologies. I sleep well at night. And when we have another Weimar Republic type scenario and we have hyperinflation of the dollar, you're going to be thinking about all these crypto guys like me, asking yourself, man, maybe I should have listened to them. And by then it might be a little late. Again, the best investment is in your education. That's why I ask you guys to read our content, actually study our content, because it takes time for you to become aware of the level of responsibility that you have with these technologies. It's not something you learn overnight. And we live in a world of complete irresponsibility. A lot of these people that invested their money into these banks, They invested money into these banks that were not even insured. So I personally think that this will continue, that this bank run will get even worse. I will be here putting out these videos for you guys because we care about you and we want to make sure that you guys are safe. There's only so much we can give you, and then you have to walk. When someone asks me, Raf, what should I invest in? What should I buy? My answer is, my knee-jerk answer is always, your education. If you put yourself in that vulnerable position of having to ask someone what to buy and when to buy, you're putting yourself in the position to be manipulated by someone. We don't want that for you. We want you to be well-rounded and educated. Because we're moving into a world where you will either have more freedom or more tyranny. It's up to you. Now, this is a very, very good time for you to learn more about crypto. Because after this banking crisis happens, guess what's gonna catch everyone's attention? Bitcoin and crypto itself. Why? Because we were created for times like this. Peace, love, and anarchy.
What up, Vigilantes? I am on my way to go speak to the business association of this whole area of Acapulco called Bonefield, where we have Anarchapulco. We're gonna set them up with crypto. So all these people, all these businesses are gonna become merchants, crypto merchants. So very excited about that. I'm actually walking there right now. So at the end of Anarchapulco, I felt compelled to give a workshop. And it was really two workshops in one. One, it was on the topic of AI and how to respond to it as the crypto community. And we gifted you guys the tools, so open source, so you can learn more about how to respond to AI using proof of work. And the second topic of the conversation is how can we onboard up hundreds of millions of users overnight into the crypto space? And that has already been solved. So go to this description. This information needs to get out. In my opinion, is probably the two most pressing issues of our time that are really, come down to just one issue. We need to reach hyper cryptodization before AI takes over. And we have the tools. So we really want you guys to click in the description and watch this workshop. I did it at the end of Anarchapulco. After everything was done, I just felt compelled. I felt called to do it. In my opinion, it's the most badass workshop that I've ever given because it has to do with what is, in my opinion, the two biggest issues in our time. AI and fixing the crypto onboarding problem. Both wrapped in one. You guys gotta watch it. I can't stress enough how important this workshop is. We're giving it away for free. So just sign up below, watch the workshop. This actually was a 3.5-hour workshop, and we broke it down to, there goes a puppy. And it broke down to after editing, it was like an hour and 30 minutes. So we trimmed the fat for you, and I hope you enjoy it. Peace, love, anarchy. Bye.